Hey guys, I'm Keke,
And I'm Tracey,
and we are Black Girls.
who watch K-dramas.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so we are just, piggybacking right on off of Tale of the Nine Tails, and we're talking
hmm
about 1938, which is also Tale of the Nine Tails. Now, if I am being perfectly, completely honest, I feel like 1938 was my favorite of the two.
I would totally agree.
Mm.
I totally agree.
Now,
And
it
hold
doesn't
up,
mean
I'm really shocked because I know
really.
how you love your love stories and your romance. Not to say that that's what you look for every time, but I know that how you love your romance. So
That's shocking. Well, you know what? I could see why she thinks that. So here's why I like the tale of 1938. One, I'm a history buff before I'm a
this
love
is true.
fan.
This is true.
And so I think I appreciated the
Yeah.
alignment with history and where Korea was, or Chosen, and like occupation with Japan, and how they kind of
hmm
worked that into the storyline. But also, I don't think any less of Tale of the Nine Tails. It's just that the way that the Nine Tails season one ended,
Yeah.
I needed this 1938.
I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just based on the strength that Rang did not have that
He did
closure.
not. And he was one of my favorite characters, even though he was a
Same.
jerk. He was
And
a jerk in the
I felt
first episode,
like
first season.
because he had an ice box where his heart used
Yeah.
to be.
I like that. That was cute.
And his brother slowly, unthawed it
Yeah.
once he found him again.
Mm-hmm.
When he ended up having it, because you got to watch it and you'll see what I'm saying, because I'm trying not to give too much away. So
Yeah.
you'll know, you know what I mean? But he definitely helped unthaw a lot of his heart.
Mm-hmm.
And it was real hard in the beginning because he looking at it like, nah, bro, I remember this relationship from, years ago. And
Yeah.
like they were literally in two different places of their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally agree with you. I love how they centered 1938 just
Around the
around them
brothers.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
So,
And
yeah.
his friendship as
Yes,
well.
his friendship as well,
Yeah.
because he did have a lot of people in his corner that really kind of supported him, and that also led to his success in season one. That because of the love story, you really don't get to appreciate until we get to 1938.
Yeah.
And not only that, there was some time travel elements in it. We
Yeah.
have way more, Korean folklore and even some Japanese folklore that come into this.
Agreed. Agreed.
I'm
Yeah.
all for some like fantasy.
hmm
I think it was the history for me, and the loves, the bromances. I think it was
Yeah.
the history and the bromances. And while I loved the love story, because I really did love the love story.
Yeah. I
It
can't
was
say I was mad that she wasn't in
I was not disappointed
1938.
that she only had a cameo
Yeah.
in 1938,
Yeah.
but that it wasn't solely focused on just his relationship and his longing for
Yeah.
the relationship with her, or what he had acquired while she was in her first life, or whatever life it was that
Yeah.
he
I
met
think
her
they did a
in.
really good job of that all in the Tale of the Nine Tails,
Yeah. And like honestly, with 1938, it made me feel like I could have sequels with Wrong and like the whole ensemble of
Yeah.
1938
Yeah. For
once
sure.
he's, made his way back to the future or present or whatever.
Absolutely, just to see what
Yes,
else
what happened
transpired
along,
after he
yes.
left. Yeah, because even with his best friend, just seeing how her character progressed,
Mhm.
with all of the people that was underneath her as well, the
Mhm.
women that she was taking care of
Yeah.
too. Like
Yeah.
there were so many different characters and elements of it, like just layers of things that you
Yeah.
just truly appreciate because it just made you fall in love with each character in your own way.
Yes.
Even the
And
person that you thought like was
was a
just super.
villain. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes,
So like the one thing I can say that I appreciated about 1938 is that who you suspect to be the villain,
yeah,
each time you suspect them to be the villain, you're probably going to be wrong. And I also appreciated just aside from, all the other things that I mentioned, I appreciated the comedy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would totally agree. I mean, because what's a show without a couple of hee hee ha ha's? Absolutely. I also just want to say that where you were talking about the villain, it made me think of the hag. They called her the hag sometimes.
Oh,
Her role. I thought her role was really good as well. She did an amazing job just with playing her part in her being able to, foresee things.
yeah.
And then there were some things that she couldn't see. They were like a
Yeah.
little bit out of her
Blurry,
element.
yeah.
But I thought that it was, I thought that they did a really good job of showing how our boy was a great critical thinker. Like just when you thought that someone was going to be, like get the best of him, he was like such a critical thinker that it was just
a couple
like
of steps ahead
all the time.
Yeah. I did appreciate that. It was something else that the love story between Ron getting his love story. Like I appreciated that, and the fact that she was half mermaid, half human, and just how he was so emotionally handicapped, he didn't really realize that she liked him in that capacity.
Girl, was so funny how every time they like were in the same room with one another, she like had this idea in her head, like, oh, this is how it's supposed to go. He would do something the complete opposite, and she looking like, that is not how this is supposed to go.
He was so annoyed with her when she saved his life, and he owed her because
he was pissed.
So the thing about a nine tail is if you save their life or you do a favor for them, they have to repay you. And so because she saved his life in a tricky situation, he was super annoyed because now he owed her a favor.
He did not like being in debt.
He did not. And so like the favors that he had to repay to her were to give her a lot of micro dates. And her dates, like Keke said, she had it all planned up in her head and how things were going to be, and they just did not go the way she had dreamt it up in her head. And the stuff that she found to be a handicap of herself, he loved about her. He truly did. It was super sweet, and I if they did another season, I would need to see how that love story progressed. Like, I mean, I guess you can't really dive too much into their dynamic without falling into what actually happens to him when we get to the 2000s. But again, I feel like if I were to layer Nine Tails and 1938 on top of each other, I would give the show a higher rating than I would just give Nine Tails, the Tale of Nine Tails by itself. While I did love the Nine Tails by itself, I loved it even more once I got 1938 because it was almost as if 1938 needed that Nine Tails foundation. And then 1938 was the completion. Yes, I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
So
watch it, y'all. It's so good.
It was.
It is, and it's so much action too. Like if you are an action person, there were a lot of fight scenes. Like there were a lot of good things in 1938 that you didn't get in the Tale of the Nine Tails. There was quite a bit of action for sure and suspense. Yeah. But 1938, like Tracey is saying, it just brought it all home for you.
And I wouldn't necessarily suggest you just watching 1938 without watching the Nine Tails because there will be some things that are going to be referenced or mentioned that might go over your head.
For sure.
But, if you just kind of want to experience all the things that she has mentioned, like, it's a good show to watch. So, I don't know. If you have other shows that you have watched, if you've seen Nine Tails and or 1938,
please let us know.
What did you think about it? Did you like it?
Don't be shy. Right. We like to recap.
If you didn't like it, tell us what you didn't like about it. I mean, no judgment whatsoever. This is just our personal opinion.
Because, baby, when Rain realized what all he could do and started believing when he was wearing confidence, when he started wearing confidence, baby.
And
yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Ooh. Watch it, y'all. That's all we're gonna say. And
anyway,
and what should they do every time?
You should always be kind. Always.
Because you never know.
Remember to always be kind. Because you never know when your best friend might turn out to be a 9 tail.